I'm going to show you guys a betting strategy where mathematically the odds of losing money are close to zero. And I don't mean just like, trust me bro, close to zero. I mean virtually zero. I'm going to walk you through the actual math, the actual bet slip, and the exact system so you can check my work yourselves. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how I do this, the platform I use, and why the math makes it almost impossible to lose long term. Let's get into it. First, the platform. This whole strategy runs on an app called Onyx. Here's exactly what you get for free just signing up based on the current promo. On your first purchase of $10 or more, Onyx matches it 100% in Onyx Cash. So that's up to 100 Onyx Cash free just for making that first purchase. Plus a $50 bonus if you sign up through my referral link. That's real, redeemable currency, not just some throwaway virtual point system. Quick note, technically that purchase happens through something called Onyx Coins in the app, but you can just basically ignore that. I don't touch the coins at all. The Onyx Cash is what matters, what you actually bet with, and what's redeemable. So from here on, when I say cash, that's what I mean. Here's the part that matters for you specifically. That welcome bonus stacks with the referral bonus, so signing up through a link gets you both, not just one or the other. There's ideally two ways to play this. If you just want to test the waters, I'd say purchase a $10 minimum. You'll get a $10 match plus the $50 referral bonus, so $60 total. If you want to go all in, purchase $100 or more, and you're looking at the full $150 bonus for free. Either way, the extra $50 only comes from using a referral link. More on that in a bit. Quick disclosure up front, since I'll bring this up later, I do have a referral link, and I'll be transparent about that when we get there. Here's where it gets interesting. As of late, roughly every 3 days, Onyx runs a purchase boost. You make a purchase and they match a percentage of it in Onyx Cash, sometimes 25% or more, up to a cap. So a $200 purchase can turn into meaningful bonus cash on top. And again, that cash is what I actually use, not the coin side of it. On its own, that's a nice bonus, but it's not the actual strategy. The strategy is what you do with that bonus cash next. Onyx also runs a daily boost, generally around a 30% boost, though it varies. This is the whole engine of the thing. When you stack a 30% boost on top of a bet that already has positive expected value, your edge gets significantly bigger than what you'd get betting the same line anywhere else. This is the part most people scroll past without realizing what it actually does to the math, so stick with me. Here's a detail that makes this exploitable instead of just nice to have. The rollover requirement on this bonus is only 1x. Compare that to some sportsbook bonuses which lock you into 5x, 10x, sometimes higher, before you can withdraw anything. 1x rollover means you clear the bonus fast with a minimal extra betting volume, which matters a lot when we get into the math because every extra bet is extra variance. Let's walk through a real bet start to finish with real numbers, and I want to keep this realistic because most of you won't be betting hundreds per bet. Let's say you purchase $200, the purchase boost is a 25% match, so $50 in bonus cash. I find a bet with a boosted line, let's say a money line underdog at plus 250 after the boost is applied. My calculated edge on this bet after the boost is 20% expected value. Here's the practical part. The boost itself caps out at a $20 stake, so realistically, most people using this strategy are betting $20 per boosted bet, not some huge number. That $20 cap actually works in your favor early on since it naturally keeps your bet size small and conservative while your bankroll is still small, which lines up with quarter Kelly sizing anyways unless your bankroll is already huge. At plus 250 odds, a $20 stake pays out $70 total, a $50 profit if it hits. That's one bet capped at the boost max. Now imagine doing that consistently every time a promo cycle rolls around, always sized the same disciplined way, small, repeatable, but boring in the best way. Let's talk about where that plus 20% number actually comes from because I don't want you to just take my word for it. Expected value, or EV, just means on average across many identical bets, how much do you expect to make or lose? A 20% EV bet means that for every dollar you stake, you expect to make 20 cents back over the long run. Not every single time, but on average across enough repetitions. At plus 250 odds, that means my actual win probability needs to be around 34% for this to truly be a 20% EV bet. And I'm finding lines where the true probability based on my own research and line shopping is higher than what the odds imply. That gap between true probability and implied probability is the entire edge. Quick check on the numbers at plus 250 odds, and I want to be clear, plus 250 is just an example for this walkthrough. Not every boosted bet lands at exactly those odds. Typically, the odds minimum is plus 200, so I like to stick in that area as often as I can, as long as the EV supports that, between plus 200 and plus 300. But at plus 250, you only need to win about 28.6% of the time just to break even. That's the bar the sportsbook is setting. My actual boosted bet edge runs well above that break-even line. The plus 250 example here is for illustration so you can see how the math works, not a claim that every bet is exactly this number. Now here's the part that actually gets you that 99.999% number, bet sizing. If you bet too large relative to your edge, you can go broke even with a positive edge, purely from bad variance. Kelly Criterion is a formula that tells you the mathematically optimal fraction of your bankroll to bet based on your edge and the odds. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to stay disciplined with your bets. If you don't stay disciplined, this strategy can fall apart so fast. You can lose your whole bankroll in one bet. We don't take bets because we think a bet's going to win. We take bets because the true probability of it winning is higher than the implied probability. Basically, we're just getting better odds than what you're getting at other sports books. For 20% EV bet at plus 250 odds, Full Kelly says bet around 8% of your bankroll. I don't bet Full Kelly, I bet Quarter Kelly, so about 2% of my bankroll per bet at these numbers. That's a quarter of the optimal size. Why size down? Because Quarter Kelly dramatically reduces variance while still capturing most of the long-term growth. It's the difference between a smooth, boring, reliable climb and a roller coaster that occasionally wipes you out even when your math is right. In plain English, before I show you this table, at this bet size, losing a meaningful chunk of your bankroll isn't impossible, but it's very rare, and losing most of it is somewhere between basically never and actually never. Here's exactly how rare it is. Using the standard risk of ruin math for fractional Kelly betting, at these exact parameters, Quarter Kelly, plus 250 odds, and 20% EV, here's the probability my bankroll ever drops to a given level across an unlimited number of bets. Down just 25% at some point, the odds of that happening are only 15.7%. Down 50% at some point, it drops all the way to only 1.15%. So the odds of you using the strategy to lose even 50% of your money, there's only a 1.15% chance of that actually happening. Down 75% at one point is about 0.013%. Down 90% at some point is about 0.0000365%. And down 99% or more is functionally zero. There's actually a well-established result in the math behind Kelly betting. A better sizing bets this way never technically risks total ruin because your bet size shrinks right along with your bankroll if things go bad. You can get arbitrarily close to zero, but you mathematically cannot hit it under proportional sizing like this. So when I say 99.999%, that's not just a vibe-based number. That's closer to the actual probability I never even lose half of my bankroll, assuming my edge estimate holds. And I want to be straight with you on that last part because it's the whole ball game. This math is only as good as a 34% true win rate I'm assuming going in. If my real edge is smaller than I think, every one of those numbers gets worse, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Before we go further, I want to show you something important. My actual verified track record pulled straight from Pickett, a third-party bet tracker. This isn't a screenshot I made, it's independently verified. Quick note, This only covers this one sportsbook for about the last 2 months since I signed up for it, so it's not a full year, so keep that time frame in mind. Look at the record, 22-54. I actually lose most of my bets. Only about a 29% win rate on a per bet basis, and that's completely normal, and here's why. I'm betting underdogs at plus money odds. Remember, my blended record includes lower EV rollover clearing bets too, which pulls the numbers down. On my actual boosted EV bets specifically, my edge runs well above break even. Losing more bets than I win isn't a red flag on plus money odds like these. It's expected. The question isn't whether I win most bets, it's whether the edge is real, and the ROI answers that. The 99.999% win rate in this video's title isn't about winning individual bets. It's about the probability that my overall bankroll ends up profitable long-term given quarter Kelly sizing and a real positive edge. Look at the equity curve. I was down early, had several red stretches, but the trend over time is what matters. Up 19% ROI and up nearly $500 net. That's the number that actually matters here. One honest note on that ROI number, it's not purely boosted 20% EV bets. Sometimes I take smaller, lower EV bets without a boost just to churn through a rollover requirement faster so I can redeem cash sooner. And those bets actually drag my blended ROI down. If I only counted the boosted bets on their own, my ROI would actually be well above 20%. The 19% you're seeing is the honest, blended number across everything, boosted and non-boosted, not the best case cherry-picked version. Now let's talk about what could actually go wrong, because I'm not going to pretend this is completely risk-free. First, my 20% EV estimate is my own calculation. It's based on real research and line comparison using the sharpest books, but it is an estimate. It's not a guaranteed facts. If the sharps read on a bet is off, the real math changes. Second, sportsbooks do track this kind of behavior. Repeatedly clearing the same promo on a schedule is a kind of pattern that can get an account limited, restricted, or banned. That's a real business risk of doing this at any real volume, and it's worth going in with your eyes open. Third, promos can change or get pulled entirely. What I'm showing you today is a promo structure as it exists right now. That's not guaranteed to stay this good forever. So when I say 99.999% win rate, that's describing the bankroll math assuming everything holds, not a promise about any single bet. The bigger real-world risk isn't losing money on a given bet, it's actually the platform side of things changing. One practical note, quarter Kelly sizing often works well if your bankroll is big enough that your bet sizes stay meaningful. If you're just depositing the minimum every cycle, your bet sizes will be small, and that's fine. Just know that this strategy scales with your bankroll. I'd treat anything under a few $100s as testing the waters rather than expecting real returns just yet. Quick disclaimer, you need to be 18 or older. This isn't available in every state, and this video is not personalized financial or betting advice. It's a breakdown of my own approach. Also worth noting, Onyx is a sweepstakes style platform. Onyx Cash is redeemable for real prizes, but it's not a traditional real money sportsbook, so it works a little differently than what you might be used to. Bet within your means and don't bet money you can't afford to lose. If you want to try this yourself, Onyx has their own Refer a Friend program, and I'll be upfront. I do have a referral link. It's linked in the description, and you're obviously free to sign up without it too. Quick disclosure, I get 75 bonus picks for every referral, so this isn't neutral advice. I do benefit from you using my link. Quick reminder on the numbers from earlier, $10 gets you $60 total, $100 gets you $150 total. Either way, the referral bonus only kicks in if you use a link. If you sign up without one, you just miss that extra $50. No harm done, but not really a reason to leave it behind either. And here's the other reason to actually use the link. It's how I'm tracking who gets into my free Discord. Signing up through my link is what gets you access. I'll explain that fully in a minute. Because of platform limits, I can only take the first 45 referrals through that link. So if you're interested, don't wait too long. For the first 45 people who sign up through my link, I've set up a free Discord where I'll post the daily boost play I'm personally taking so you can follow along in real time. To be clear, Using the Onyx sign-up link is what gets you in, since that's how I'm tracking who joins. Links in the description below. If this strategy keeps performing the way the math says it should, I've got a lot more content like this coming, so subscribe if you want to follow along. See you in the next one.